Okay guys, to continue yung naputol na video, so let's have this example. So when multiplying or dividing an equation by the variable quantity, it is possible to introduce an extraneous solution. An equation, extraneous solution is one that does not satisfy the original equation. Therefore, it is essential that you check your solution. For example, we have solve 1 over x minus 2 is equivalent kay 3 all over x plus 2 minus 6x all over x squared minus 4. So, therefore, x squared minus 4 is equivalent kay x minus 2 multiplied by x plus 2, which is one of our denominator. No? So, pwede natin gawin na ito na yung i-multiply natin dun sa total equation natin. So, both left and right equation natin. So, x squared minus 4, quantity of x squared minus 4 multiplied by quantity of 1 all over x squared x minus 2 is equivalent kay 3 all over x plus 2 minus 6x all over x squared minus 4. Therefore, kapag ito minultiply natin dito, may matitira tayong x plus 2. So, therefore, ito na po yun, x plus 2. Then, kapag ito minultiply natin dito, may matitirang x minus 2. So, lalabas 3 times x minus 2. Then, pag ito minultiply natin dito sa kabila, lalabas negative 6x na lang po yun, no? Kasi makakancel pareho. No? Lalabas, we have x plus 2 is equivalent kay 3x minus 2 minus 6x. Therefore, 4x, which is x to, tapos tayo 3x, tapos magiging 6 na naman tong kabila. So, lalabas, we have 4x is equivalent kay negative 8, then x will be equivalent kay negative 2. Okay, so, let's solve some of the problems or some of the numbers or algebraic expressions in the exercise number 12. No? Solve for the value of x. So we have number 1, which is equivalent kay x plus 11 is equivalent kay 15. And number 2, we have 3 multiplied by x plus 2 minus 5 is equivalent kay 3x plus 1. And we have number 3, which is 9x minus 10 is equivalent kay 5x plus 2 times 2x minus 5. Okay, so let's solve. So we have x plus 11 equivalent kay 15. So lalabas yan, x is equivalent kay 15. Lipat mo lang yung 11, magiging negative 11. Therefore, x is equivalent kay 4. Then, dito, simplify mo lang, we have 3x plus 6 minus 5 is equivalent kay 3x plus 1. Okay, pagsamahin mo lang po yung both pareho po ng variables. So, lalabas, we have 3x dito, tapos dito, we have lalabas dyan ay 0 is equivalent kay 0. Kasi nga, ito pag nilipat dito, magiging negative 6 plus 6, 0. So, 3x pag nilipat sa kabila, 3x minus 3x is 0. Therefore, wala pong value yung x dyan. No? Then, for number 3, we have 9x minus 10 is equivalent kay 5x plus 2 times 2x minus 5. So, simplify mo lang, 9x minus 10 is equivalent kay 5x plus ito, magiging 4x, then ito, magiging minus 10. Lalabas, 9x minus 10 is equivalent kay 5 plus 4 is 9x minus 10. Therefore, 0 is equivalent kay 0. So, walang magiging value yung x dyan. Kasi nga, pag nilipat mo yung 9x dito sa kabila, 9x minus 9x is 0. Then, pag yung nilipat mo yung 10, negative 10 plus 10, 0. No? So, walang value yung x dyan. Ganun talaga. Pag x na, dapat wala ng value. No? Okay. So, let's continue on some of the problems. We have number 4 and number 5. We have number 4, which is 5 over x plus 3 over x is equivalent kay 24. And number 5, we have x plus 2 squared plus 5 is equivalent kay x plus 3 squared. so we have this 5 all over x plus 3 over x is equivalent kay 24. So I could say that let's multiply this by x. So lalabas we have, pag ito minultiply dito, lalabas yan ay 5 na lang. Ito pag minultiply dito, lalabas din ay 3. Then, ito pag minultiply dito, lalabas we have 24x. Therefore, 8 is equivalent kay 24x. X is equivalent kay 8 all over 24, or x is equivalent kay 1 over 3. No? Okay, let's continue. Number 5, we have x plus 2 x plus 2 squared plus 5 is equivalent kay x plus 3 squared. So, lalabas ito ay, pag i-expand po natin, lalabas ito ay x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 5 is equivalent kay x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay? So, simplify lang, pagsamahan lang yung like terms. So, lalabas x squared to, pag nilipat to, minus x squared plus 4x, pag nilipat yung 6x, minus 6x is equivalent kay yung 9 dito, pag nilipat yung 4 plus, minus 4, then minus 5. So, lalabas cancel to, then matitira dito ay we have negative 2x is equivalent kay ito ay 4 minus 9 minus 4 minus 5, so lalabas yan ay 0. Okay? Then negative 2x is equivalent kay 0, so lalabas divide by 0, joke lang. Baka ma-depend tayo. Okay, so, lalabas dyan, x will be 0 kasi nga 0 over 2, negative 2. So, wala namang value yung 0 over negative 2. So, lalabas, undefined po yung value natin. No? Kasi 0 yung numerator natin dyan. So, lalabas, x will be equivalent kay 0. Okay, let's double check sa calculator kung anong bibigyan niyang sagot. No? We have alpha x plus 2 squared plus 5 is equivalent kay alpha x plus 3 squared. Okay, so let's solve. So, lalabas, x is equivalent kay 0 nga. So, ito. Okay, so let's continue. Another example pa ba? Wala na. Okay, so let's continue on the presentation. So, quadratic equation. A quadratic equation in x is an equation that can be written in the general form. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers. With a should not be equal to 0, a quadratic equation in x is also known as the second degree polynomial equation in x. You should be familiar with the following 4 methods for solving quadratic equations. Okay, so in solving quadratic equations, we have 4 process or 4 ways to solve quadratic equations. First is by factoring. So ito, by factoring. Then second is square root principle. So square root principle. Then we have completing the square and the quadratic formula. So we have factoring. So yung factoring is same lang yan nung diniscuss ko nung una, no? So, kung paano mag-factor nung ano. So, yun din yung magiging value ng x natin. Kung baga, ilalabas mo lang yung real number dun sa factor natin. Kaya dito, we have x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. The factor will be x minus 3, then x plus 2. So, lalabas ko lang yung x minus 3, lalabas ko lang yung minus 3 dun sa ano, lalabas, x will be equivalent kay 3, then dito, x plus 2, x will be equivalent kay negative 2. For square root principle naman, we have u squared is equivalent kay c, where c is greater than 0, then u is equivalent kay plus or minus the square root of c. So, example, we have x plus 3 squared is equivalent kay 16. So, to remove the squared in this portion, so lilipat natin sa kabila, magiging square root na po siya. So we have x plus 3 square root of 16, which is plus or minus 4, no? Then, to get the value of x, so let's say x is equivalent kay plus 4 tapos transfer mo to, negative 3, lalabas, we have 1. Then, negative 4 tapos negative 3, negative 7, no? Okay, for completing the square, ito naman yung magiging process. X squared plus bx plus b over 2 squared plus c plus b over 2 squared. So, lalabas, we have x plus b over 2 squared is equivalent kay c is equivalent kay b squared over 4. For example, we have x squared plus 6x is equivalent kay 5. So, kukomplete natin yung square nitong x squared plus 6x. So, we have yung b which is 6. So, divide mo lang sa 2. We have x squared plus bx which is 6x plus yung b over 2. So, 6 over 2 is 3 squared plus 5 plus b over 2 ulit 3 squared. Then, to complete the square, we have x plus b over 2. So, x plus 3 squared is equivalent kay kung anong value nitong c plus b squared over 4. So, we have 5 plus 9, 14. So, tanggalin ulit yung square root dito, yung square dito, lipat sa kabila magiging square root. So, x plus 3 is equivalent kay plus or minus square root of 14. Then, x is equivalent kay 3 plus or minus square root of 14. Then, for the quadratic formula, we have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Then, x is equivalent kay b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So, example, we have 2x squared plus 3x plus 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. We have a which is 2, b which is 3, and c which is negative 1. So, the formula negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac is equivalent kay 2a. So, x is equivalent kay negative 3, b, plus or minus square root of positive 3 squared minus 4a which is 2, then c which is negative 1, all over 2 times a which is 2. So, lalabas ito po yung value. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 17 over 4. Okay. So, properties of roots, we have sum of roots, x1 plus x2 is equivalent kay negative b over a. Then, the product of roots, we have x1 times x2 is equivalent kay c over a. Then, for the discriminant, we can say that b squared is equivalent kay b squared minus 4ac. Then, when b squared is equal to 4ac, we have roots are equal. So, ibig sabihin yung r1 and r2 or x1 and x2 is pareho. Then, when b squared is greater than 4ac, we have roots that are real and unequal. So, kapag b squared is greater than 4ac, we have roots na whole number or real number pero magkaiba po yung value. When b squared is less than 4ac, so the roots are imaginary. So, may square root of negative something na yan or imaginary numbers. So, example, we have quadratic equation by factoring 2x squared plus 9x plus 7 is equivalent kay 3. So, by factoring to, so 2x squared plus 9x plus 7 is equal to 3. So, 2x squared plus 9x plus 4, the factor will be 2x plus 1 and x plus 4. Therefore, pag ilalabas ko yung 1 dun sa kabila, magiging 2x is equivalent kay negative 1 na. Then, para matanggal yun to dun sa x, magiging x is equivalent kay negative 1 half. Same din dito, x, pag nilipat ko itong 4 dun sa kabila, magiging x is equivalent kay negative 4. Ito po yung answer. Then, solve the equations by extracting square root. So, extracting square root naman tayo. Yung pangalawang process ng pag-solve. So, we have 4x squared is equivalent kay 12. So, tanggalin ko yung square dito, tapos yung 4. So, first, we have x squared is equivalent kay 12 over 4. Tinanggal ko muna yung 4, divide 4 lang dito. Then, to extract the square root or the exponent 2, so, ilipat mo na sa kabila, then magiging square root na sa kabila, di ba? So, we have x is equivalent kay plus or minus the square root of 3. Then, solve x squared plus 2x minus 6 is equivalent kay 0 by completing the square. We have x squared plus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. X squared plus 2x is equivalent kay 6. To complete the square, we have b over 2. So, lalabas 2 over 2, we have 1 squared. Then, same din dito. So, we have x squared plus bx plus b over 2. So, we have 2 over 2 squared. We have 1 squared. Is equivalent kay 6 plus b over 2 squared ulit. So, therefore, we have x plus 1 quantity squared is equivalent kay 6 plus 1 squared is 7. Then, to extract the square root dito or the exponent 2, lipat dun sa kabila, magiging square root na siya. X plus 1 is equivalent kay plus or minus the square root of 7. So, x is equivalent kay transfer yung positive 1 sa kabila magiging negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 7. Then, solve 3x squared minus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0 by completing the square. For the solution, we have 3x squared minus 4x minus 5. We have a, completing the square pa rin pala to. So, we have 3x squared minus 4x is equivalent kay 5 times 1 over 3. So, tatanggalin natin yung 3 dito sa x squared, no? Para ma-extract natin or ma-complete natin yung square. So, we have x squared minus 4x over 3 is equivalent kay 5 over 5 over 4. 5 over 3. Ito. 5 over 3 po ito, ha. Therefore, lalabas, we have x squared minus 4x over 3 plus b over 2. So, we have 4 over 3 divide 2. So, lalabas yun ay negative 4 over 3 divide 2. So, magiging 2 over 3 na lang po siya. So, negative 2 over 3 ito. Negative 2 over 3 squared is equivalent kay 5 over 3 po ito. 5 over 3. Wrong lang po yung ano. Kasi pag binultiply ito dito, magiging 5 over 3 yan. Plus, negative 2 over 3 squared ulit. So, lalabas ito ay we have x squared minus 4x over 3 plus let's double check. Negative 2 over 3 quantity squared, we have 4 over 9. Then, ito, 4 over 9. Then, kapag pinas po ito, so, double check na lang natin, 5 over 3. So, we have 19 over 9. No? Tama naman po itong sagot. Baka double check na lang po din sa module nyo, dapat po ito ay 3. No? 5 over 3, 5 over 3 din po ito. So, we have 19 over 9. So, lalabas, we have x minus 3 over 2 quantity squared is equivalent kay 19 over 9. To extract the exponent 2 here, so lipat mo dun sa kabila, lalabas x minus 2 over 3 is equivalent kay plus or minus the square root of 19 over 9. Then, to get the value, x is equivalent kay palipat po dun sa kabila, so magiging positive 2 over 3 plus or minus square root of 19 over 3. No? So, paki-double check po ha, 3 po to at 3 din po dapat to. Okay, using quadratic equation or quadratic formula, we have x squared plus 3x minus 9 is equal to 0, where a is equivalent kay 1, then b is equivalent kay 3, and c is equivalent kay negative 9. So, we have formula x is equivalent kay negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2ac. Then, substitute mo lang the value ng a, b, and c dito. So, lalabas we have x is equivalent kay negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 45 over 2. Then, the square root of 45 is equivalent kay 3 square root of 5. So, lalabas we have x is equivalent kay negative 3 minus 3 the square root of 5 over 2, or x is equivalent kay negative 3 plus 3 the square root of 5 over 2. Okay, so we have exercise number 13, solve the quadratic equations by factoring. So, we have number 1, x squared minus 2x. Solve na lang po natin yan para mas maintindihan natin kung paano sinusolve po yung quadratic equation. Okay, we have number 1, which is equivalent kay x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equivalent kay 0, and we have 2x squared is equivalent kay 19x plus 33. Okay. Okay, so we have x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equivalent to 0. So, first is solve the equation by factoring. So, to factor this equation, we can see that x minus 4 times x minus plus 2 is equivalent kay 0. No? So, lalabas ito, multiply dito is negative 8. Ito, multiply doon at ito, multiply doon is negative 2x. Then ito, x squared. So, therefore, we have x is equivalent kay, ilalabas ko yung 4 dito sa kabila, equal to 4, and x is equivalent kay negative 2. So therefore, this will be the roots or the value of x using factoring on x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, for the number 2, we have 2x squared is equivalent to 19x plus 33. Okay, so first arrange mo muna into standard form, no? So we have 2x squared minus, pag nilipat to sa kabila, minus 19x, then lipat to sa kabila, minus 33 is equivalent kay 0. Okay, then to factor this equation or this quadratic equation, which is 2x squared minus 19x minus 33, so we could say that it is 2x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 11. Okay, so 3 times negative 11 is negative 33. Tama? Then 2x times negative 11 is negative 22x. Tapos minus itong 3x. So we have negative 22x plus 3x. We have negative 19x. Then ito, multiply dito is 2x squared. So therefore, we could say that x, tatanggalin ko yung, ilalabas ko yung value nito. So, pwede natin sabihin yan, 2x plus 3 is equivalent kay 0. So, we have 2x is equivalent kay lipat yung negative, yung 3 sa kabila, negative 3. Therefore, lalabas yan ay x is equivalent kay negative 3 over 2. Then, for this value, we could say that x minus 11 is equal to 0. So, x is equivalent kay 11 pag nilipat dun sa kabila. So, yan po. Yan po yung magiging roots ng equation po or ng quadratic equation natin. Okay? So, let's have this problem. So, ito muna natin. We have solved the equation by extracting square roots of number 1, x plus 13 squared is equivalent kay 25, and number 2, we have 4x plus 7 squared equals 44. Okay. We have this. Okay. X plus 13 squared is equivalent kay 25. So, first extract yung exponent to papunta sa kabila. So, lalabas yan ay x plus 13. Pag nilipat po yan ay magiging plus minus square root of 25. Therefore, x plus 13 is equivalent kay plus or minus 5. Okay? So, lalabas yung isang root natin is x plus x is equivalent kay 5, positive 5, ito, plus 5, tapos nilipat itong kabila, magiging minus 13. Then yung isa ay x is equivalent kay negative 5, pag nilipat ulit, negative 13. So therefore, x is equivalent kay negative 18 para dito. Then dito, x is equivalent kay 8. Negative 8. Negative 8. So therefore, the roots will be x is equivalent kay negative 8 and x is equivalent kay negative 18. Okay, for number 2, we have 4x plus 7 quantity squared is equivalent kay 44. Okay, so we have 4x plus 7 is equivalent kay, lipat ng squared dun sa kabila, magiging plus minus square root of 44. Okay? Then, extract natin yung 7 sa kabila, palipat natin. So, we can say that 4x is equivalent kay 7, negative 7, plus or minus square root of 44. Then, remove natin yung 4 dito sa kabila. We can say that x is equivalent kay negative 7, plus or minus the square root of 44 all over 4. Therefore, the roots will be x is equivalent kay negative 7, plus square root of 44 all over 4. Then x is equivalent to negative 7 minus square root of 44 all over 4. Then, yung square root of 44, pag nilagay po yan sa calculator, lalabas yan ay 2 the square root of 11 or 4 times 11. So, yung 4 is, square root of 4 is 2. So, pwede natin sabihin niya na x is equivalent kay negative 7 plus 2 the square root of 11 all over 4. Then, yung isang roots is x is negative 7 minus 2 the square root of 11 all over 4. So, ito po yung value ng x. Okay? Okay, let's solve this equation. Ito. Solve the equation by completing the square. Okay. So, yung ibang mga problems dyan sa exercises natin na hindi ko sinasagutan is, yun po yung mga dapat yung sagutan kasi at the end of semester or at the end of the midterm or finals, na, yun nga, double check ko yan or i-check ko yan lahat kung may mga lectures kayo at yung mga hindi natin sinagutan ay sinagutan niyo po, no? Okay, so we have number 1 which is 9x squared minus 18 is equivalent kay negative 3. And for number 2, we have 8 plus 4x minus x is equivalent kay 0. Okay, so by completing the square, okay, so first, extract ko muna yung 9 dito sa left side. So we could say that 9 times x squared minus 18x pa to, minus 2x is equivalent kay negative 3. Okay? Then sabi, 9 times, di ba, x squared minus bx, x squared plus bx plus b over 2 squared. Tama? So we could say that this will be x squared minus 2x plus 2 over 2 squared. Ganyan. Ano natin yung parentheses? Palitan. Equals negative 3 plus b over 2. So we have 2 over 2 squared times yung 9 na nilabas natin. No? Okay? So lalabas, we have 9 times x minus 1 squared is equivalent kay negative 3 plus 9. Then, to remove the value of 9 dito, so lalabas yan ay x minus 1 squared is equivalent kay negative 3 plus 9 over 9. Then, to remove the square or the exponent na 2 dito, lipat ko sa kabila, we have x minus 1 is equivalent kay plus or minus square root ni negative 3 plus 9 all over 9. So, lalabas, we have x is equivalent kay, pag nilipat yung 1 sa kabila, plus or minus square root ni 6 over 9. Ano makita pala? 6 over 9. Ito. Then, we could say that x is equivalent kay 1 plus. Okay. So, ito, pwedeng yung square root of 9 is 3 dito. So, lalabas siya na ay square root of 6 over 3. Then, lalabas yan, x, okay, dito na lang, x is equivalent kay 3 plus square root of 6 all over 3. Then, to get the another value, we have x is equivalent kay 3 minus the square root of 6 over 9, ay over 3. So, ito po yung roots ng ano natin. Ito. We have 2 roots. Okay? So another, we have 8 plus 4x minus x squared. X squared is equal to 0. Okay, so first, arrange muna natin para maayos yung pagkakano. So ililipat ko ito sa kabila, ilipat ko ito sa kabila. So we have x squared minus 4x is equivalent kay 8. Then, yun nga, completing the square, we have x squared minus 4x plus b over 2 quantity squared. So we have 4 over 2 quantity squared is equivalent to 8 plus 4 over 2 quantity squared. Okay. So kung na dito, so we have x squared minus 4x plus 4 over 2 squared is equivalent kay 8 plus 4 over 2 squared. Okay? So, dito, 4 over 2 is equivalent kay 2. Tapos, naka-squared. So, lalabas, 4 pa rin siya. 4. So, ngayon, lalabas yan ay x minus 2 squared is equivalent kay 8 plus, ito ay, lalabas na ay magiging 4. Kasi nga, 16 over 4 is 4. Okay, so extract yung square, exponent na to dito, lipat sa kabila, lalabas siya na x minus 2 is equivalent kay plus or minus the square root of 12. Then, lalabas, ito ay x is equivalent kay, transfer to sa kabila, 2 plus or minus 2 the square root of 3. Kasi nga, square root of 12 is to the square root of 3. Then, to get the two roots, x is equivalent kay 2 plus 2 the square root of 3. Then, the other one is x is equivalent kay 2 minus 2 the square root of 3. Okay? So, ito po yung dalawang roots ng equation natin, or ng quadratic. Okay, so let's continue. We have solved the equation using quadratic formula of this number 1 and number 2 quadratic equation. Okay, we have number 1. 16x squared plus 8x minus 3 is equal to 0, and x squared minus 10x plus 22 is equal to 0, number 2. Okay, ito. So we have value of a is equivalent kay 16, the value of b which is 8, and the value of c which is negative 3. For this equation, we have a is equivalent kay 1, b is equivalent kay negative 10, and c is equivalent kay 22. Okay, so we have formula x is equivalent kay negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared plus minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, then substitute the value dito at dito. So lalabas we have x is equivalent kay negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 16 times negative 3 all over 2 times 16. Then for this equation, we have x is equivalent kay negative 10 plus or minus the square root of negative 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times c which is 22 all over 2a. So lalabas we have x is equivalent kay diretso nyo sa calculator to. So pag nilagay natin sa calculator, we have negative 8. First, lagay nyo muna yung plus, no? Plus square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 16 times negative 3 squared, negative 3 over 2 times 16. So we have 1/4. So x is equivalent kay 1/4. Ito. Medyo masilaw. 1/4. Then, another, yung negative dito, gawin mo, yung negative dito, yung positive dito, maging negative naman. So, lalabas ito. We have x is negative 3/4. Okay? So, the value will be x is equivalent kay 1/4 and x is equivalent kay negative 3/4. Then, same din dito. So, i-calculate nyo na lang to, lalabas dyan, x is equivalent kay negative 5 minus square root of 3 and x is equivalent kay negative 5 plus the square root of 3. Yan po yung sagot na value ng roots dun sa dalawa. Okay. So, let's continue. Okay. So, additional problem tayo. So, yung ibang mga problems dyan na hindi ko na-solve, so yung mga solve the values of x in equations using any convenient method or kahit anong method ang gawin nyo, so basta mag-arrive kayo sa tamang sagot dyan sa 1 to 10, so okay lang po yan, no? Pero need nyo pong sagutan yan. Then, sagutan lang natin yung dalawang problem dyan sa additional problems. Then, the rest, kayo na rin po ang sasagot yan, no? Okay, let's solve number 5 and number 5 and number 6. Okay, determine k so that the equation 4x squared plus kx plus 1 is equivalent to 0 will have just one real solution. Okay. Sulat natin. Let's say we have number 1, determine k so that the equation 4x squared plus kx plus 1 is equal to 0. We'll have just one real solution. Okay. Okay, so dito daw we have 4x squared plus kx plus 1 is equal to 0. Tapos sinabi doon, roots has one real solution daw. One real solution. Have just one real solution. Then yung isang condition niya ay just one real solution. Okay. So first, let's identify the value of A, B, and C in this equation. So we have A is equivalent kay 4, B is equivalent kay K, and C is equivalent kay positive 1. Then, to identify one real solutions, let's balikan po natin yung sa discriminant, no? Okay. Wait lang balikan lang natin yung discriminant kanina. So we have discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So we have b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so when b squared is equivalent kay 4ac, the roots are equal. Ibig sabihin, pareho lang po yung magiging value ng x1 and x2. Then, when b squared is greater than 4ac, the roots are real and unequal. So, magkaiba po yun. Then, when b squared is less than 4ac, imaginary numbers. So, yung condition ng question kanina, which is just one real solution, ay ito po yun. b squared is equivalent kay 4ac po. No? So, therefore, the value will be dapat nandito, papasok sa condition na to. So, we have b squared is equivalent kay 4ac. Okay, balik tayo sa problem. Okay. So, first, pinapahanap po yung value ng k para ma-identify natin. So, ito. So, dapat daw, masatisfy natin to. So, pag b squared is equivalent kay 4ac, we have 1 real roots dito. Ibig sabihin, or 1 real solution doon. Kumbaga, isa lang yung roots, no? So, therefore, B squared is equivalent kay K squared is equivalent kay 4AC. So, 4 times A, which is 4, and C, which is 1. Therefore, K squared is equivalent kay 16. Then, K is equivalent kay square root ni 16. Therefore, K is equivalent kay 4. Right? So, the value of K will be 4 dyan. So, kung gusto nyo i-double check, try nyo hanapin yung 4x squared plus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. So, try to factor this. Lalabas dyan po isang roots lang po yung kalalabasan yan. No? Lalabas natin dyan ay 2x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. Let's double check Try 2x plus 1, then 2x plus 1. We have 4x squared plus 2x, then plus 2x plus 1. Therefore, try 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. Therefore, we have x is equivalent kay 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2. So, ibig sabihin, negative 1 over 2 sa kabila. So, we have 1 real roots or 1 roots, no, dito sa equation na to. Then, isa lang din yung solution natin. So, lalabas, the value of K will be 4. No? Double check lang po ito. Okay? Okay, so let's continue for the problem number 2. We have 2 engineering students. We have problem number 2. Okay, so 2 engineering students attempt to solve a problem that reduces to a quadratic equation. One of the students made mistakes only in a constant term of the quadratic equation and gives an answer of 8 and 2 for the roots. The other students solving the same problems made an error in the coefficient of the first degree term only and gives his answer as negative 9 and negative 1 for the roots. If you are to check their solution, what would be the correct quadratic equation? Okay, so let's double check. So we have for student 1, isulat ko muna yung mga given. Si student 1, the student made mistakes only in a constant. So, ibig sabihin, ang mali niya is yung C dun sa student 1. So, C is equivalent kay X or wrong. Wrong yung C niya. Then, X1 niya is equivalent kay 8 and X2 niya is equivalent kay 2. Then, for student 2, we have coefficient naman ng first degree yung wrong niya. Ibig sabihin, si B, X, yun po yung wrong niya. No? Then, we have roots of X1 is equivalent kay negative 9 and X2 is equivalent kay negative 1. Okay, so sabi dun sa kanina, student 1 got the wrong answer only dun sa coefficient niya or dun sa real numbers niya, dun sa C. Ibig sabihin yung A and B niya is tama, no? So A and B are correct value. Then si student number 2, yung B naman yung wrong or yung coefficient na may first degree ang mali niya. Ibig sabihin si A and C are correct, no? Then yung value na 8 and 2 and yung negative 9 and 1 is the coefficient or the roots pala. The roots ng solution ng dalawang engineering student, no? Okay. So to solve this, first, the quadratic equation must be ax squared plus bx plus c. Tama? Okay. So dito sa una, we have roots balikan natin yung, ano ha? Balikan natin yung lecture. Okay, so we have sum of roots. So, may tinatawag tayong sum of roots na x1 plus x2 is equivalent kay negative b over a. Then, for product roots, we have x1 times x2 is equivalent kay c over a. Tama? Okay, balik tayo dun sa problem. Okay, ito. Therefore, sabi kanina, si student 1, mali yung, ano niya, mali yung C niya. Then, si student 2, mali yung B niya. So, therefore, identify natin kung ano yung mga roots na to. Ilagay natin dito sa equation na to. Then, dito. No? So, lalabas, dito na lang. Okay, so, since student 1 ay wrong yung C, ibig sabihin tama yung B niya. So, let's say na tatama yung sum of roots niya, no? For student 1, we have roots natin which is 8 plus 2 is equivalent kay negative B over A. Kasi nga, tama yung B ni student 1, no? So, lalabas 10 is equivalent kay negative B over A. Then, for student 2, we have wrong B. So, ibig sabihin, yung C niya ay tama naman. So, dito, sa equation na to, pasok yun. So, we have negative 9 times negative 1 is equivalent kay C over A. Therefore, positive 9 is equivalent kay C over A. Therefore, ito, from student 1, which is tama yung B niya, so tama to. Then, from student 2, which is tama yung C niya, tama din to. No? Pag pinagsama natin to, doon sa equation natin dito, ibig sabihin, tatama na yung magiging equation natin. Or, yung kalalabasan is the correct quadratic equation doon sa exam or doon sa problem ng dalawang engineering students. Okay, so we have ax squared plus bx plus c, so is equivalent kay 0. Okay, so pwede ba nating tanggalin yung a dito? So, pwede kong sabihin to ay multiplied by 1 over a. Lalabas, ito ay cancel, x squared plus, ito ay magiging b a x plus c over a is equal to 0. Then the value of b over a is ito. So, lalabas yan ay negative 10. So, we have, hindi na magka siya. Dito na lang. We have 1 over 2, 1 over a. 1 over a multiplied by ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So, lalabas na ay x squared plus b over ax plus c is equal to 0. For student 1, we have negative b over a is equivalent kay 10. Then student 2, we have c over a which is equivalent kay 9. Ito. So, lalabas c over a ito. So, we have the value of b over a, negative b over a. So, pag sinabing b over a, lalabas negative 10 lang yan. So, we have x squared minus 10x plus c over a is equivalent kay 9. 9 is equivalent kay 0. Therefore, the answer will be, this will be the correct quadratic equation of the problems from the two engineering students. Okay? So, kaya po nangyari to kasi nga, yung mali ng estudyante number 1, yung student 1, ang wrong natin ay yung C or the constant term. So, ibig sabihin, yung C po yung mali ng number 1. So, ibig sabihin, tama yung B and yung A niya. So, si student 1, so kinumpute natin yung BA niya, so tama yung roots natin, B over A. Then, for student number 2, ang mali niya naman po ay yung may coefficient of first degree. Ibig sabihin, si B yung mali niya. So, kapag ginamit natin yung roots na to, dun sa product roots, which is C over A, which is tama naman yung C and A nito, so, ibig sabihin, tama naman yung magiging roots natin. So, lalabas, ito is the value of negative B over A para dun sa student 1 and C over A para dun sa student 2. So, kapag pinagsama natin to dun sa equation na to, lalabas po ito. No? So, yun. Then, for another problems, may mga problems pa po dyan, no? Additional problems na walang solution. So, kaya na lang pang gumawa ng solution dyan. So, you can ask me na lang through messenger dun sa may GC naman tayo para dun sa subject natin, no? Kung may mga questions kayo dyan, chat nyo lang po dun para nababasa din po ng lahat. So, yun. And that's end for our chapter 3. So, thank you for listening. Then, paki-subscribe and mag-comment po kayo ng question dun sa mismong video para at least ano natin. Then, if there are some corrections regarding dun sa sa explanation, baka may mga na-miss kasi ako dun sa natin, no? May mga hindi ako na-double check. So, correct na lang po, no? So, yun. Thank you for listening and I do hope na nag-enjoy and may natutunan kayo dun sa lesson natin, no? So, yun. Please subscribe and like na lang dun sa video. Malay natin, magkapera pa tayo dyan. So, yun.